Mentioned a short while ago, we're going to have a conversation with a representative from the Tobago Hotel and Tourism Association. To be specific, Mr. Renee Seepersad Singh. He's the first VP and former president of the association. Good morning, sir.
Hi, good morning. How are
All
you
right,
doing?
I'm hearing you just a bit soft, but I'm hearing you, and we're going to take it away. Of course, the Independence Day celebration, as we know, in terms of the parade and the fireworks and stuff, it's not like that this year, a day of prayer and reflection. But before I
Yeah.
get into the conversation, normally around this time, what are the numbers like in terms of accommodation and visitors?
But in Tobago, traditionally, Independence Weekend as well as July, August period, occupancy tends to generally be very high, at least in 80% and upwards.
Okay, and that's normal. So, and I mean, in Trinidad and Tobago, we have long weekends,
Mm.
and this weekend is going to be a long
Mm.
weekend. But the parade and the fireworks, the event itself, and in the shape as how we know it, is not going to be the same. When the announcement was first made, what was the feedback, or how did the association receive the announcement?
Now, we would have seen it also like everyone else in the media. Um, we
But
weren't
but
given
what,
any.
when I say how was it received, I mean in terms of initial reactions to the announcement of the cancellation of the parade and fireworks.
Well, I mean, you had mixed reactions. Some people, of course, to be disappointed. Persons who like to go and view the fireworks and the parade. Other persons understood that it was a decision made by the government and they put their faith and trust in the government decision. So I don't think we had any adverse
But but
um,
but did the
reactions.
association see any decrease or lower bookings following the announcement, or wasn't necessarily the case?
No, that wasn't the case at all. Usually, when people come for the holiday weekends, including Independence Weekend, they are pre-booked well in advance. And I don't know that we have a large market for persons who are coming to Tobago specifically to witness the independence activities.
Okay, okay, but we just needed to clear that there, just to make sure that we're getting the right information. Because I mean, there are persons who would go to social media and be like, well, boy, well, less visitors now, and the event is affecting what is taking place in terms of bookings and so on. But what we would tend to forget is that this period is naturally a peak season on the island in terms of
Correct.
the July-August vacation. I just want to shift
Correct.
now to where are we from a holistic standpoint? These hotels, resorts, these places that would normally accommodate persons, are we in a better place as we look at 2025? I know the new administration or the new executive were elected recently in your association, and you were looking at the numbers and comparing to previous years. Are we seeing an increase in terms of visitors coming to the island and the occupancy rate?
Well, you have to bear in mind, in terms of context, we're talking about post-pandemic. So obviously, you would have seen almost a complete annihilation of the arrivals. So it is fair to say that we are certainly seeing an uptick and a pickup in tourist arrivals. I think the Trinidad market in particular, which tends to dominate the July-August period, has been very strong. There's a lot more interest from the Trinidad market. We're seeing the villas, particularly guest houses, doing pretty well. The hotels have picked up, but obviously there's still some work to be done in the hotel sector, particularly by foreign arrivals. But so far, in July, August has proven to be a very strong market for Tobago. So we have been seeing some increases over the last year, particularly.
All right, and I mean, the Independence Day celebration is one, and of course, this year we have a day of prayer and reflection. But there are a number of special festivals that specifically take place in Tobago. We had the Heritage Festival in July, and we're heading into Carnival season, Tobago, October Carnival, and even Blue Food Festival. Based on this year, supposed to be the fourth installation of the Tobago Carnival. Based on that, any uptick in terms of persons increasing their reservations and so on?
From the feedback we're getting from members, there's certainly a much larger interest, certainly in inquiries for the Tobago Carnival. I think this year probably would be a year that we can measure how the actual carnival has grown from a tourism point of view. But there certainly has been a far more interest in actual persons coming across, both from Trinidad and from abroad, actually, because there are people that follow Carnival, for Tobago, for the Tobago Carnival. Yes, there has been a greater interest.
To what extent does the air bridge and the sea bridge availability influence how reservations are taking place? I mean, we would see from time to time, as a matter of fact, more time than less, persons complaining about getting flights or even sailings to come to the island. That's your perspective from an association standpoint.
Well, that has continued to be a perennial challenge for us. I mean, of course, July, August is a very busy period, so there's only a finite number of seats that will always be available and on any route. But when one puts it in context, we are looking at about a decrease of about 10 return flights pre-pandemic to post-pandemic for Tobago. So that already has increased the number of available seats on the air bridge to Tobago. That does put us at a disadvantage. I think if we had, certainly if we had more flights coming in, there'll hardly be a challenge to fill the flights during the July-August period. The sea bridge hasn't had too much challenges. That seems to have been settled quite well, and I know the port is making a great effort in trying to streamline the actual sea bridge service. But there's work to be done on the air bridge. The air bridge continues to be a perennial challenge particularly for Trinbagonians traveling on both directions. And it's something that we have been addressing both with the Assembly and the central government as a priority.
Okay, and in terms of marketing or incentive measures that the association would put in place to boost occupancy, feel free to share or give us a glimpse into some of these measures to, I guess, to make occupancy not just the peak season, but a year-round prosperous one.
Well, we would have met, as you had mentioned, we have a new executive. We would have met with the Secretary of Tourism and the THA and also the Ministry of Tourism to look at what is going to be proposed, particularly for the upcoming budget and also the upcoming fiscal year in terms of what we would like to see in terms of marketing and promotion. And we have engaged very well with them. So we are going to put some proposals to particularly target markets, source markets where we have flights, because Tobago still has very limited airlift. We have essentially European flights, UK and Germany, and we only have one North American flight. So we certainly want to look at how we can increase the airlift and access to Tobago, particularly in light of the fact that we will at some point be opening a new airport. Also doing joint promotion, targeting our diaspora market, and also focusing on year-round tourism and not just the seasonal July, August, Easter, Christmas period. So there are a number of things in the work. It's going to take some time, but we certainly want to ensure that the 25-26 winter period sees an increase. And so far, we are getting quite a lot of support from the stakeholders, including TTAL and the agencies that work alongside with us in the tourism sector.
All right, Mr. Renee Seepersad Singh, the first Vice President of the Tobago Hotel and Tourism Association. Before we close, in terms of the trends, are you seeing visitors booking way ahead of time, or are we still seeing the last-minute bookings coming in? What are the trends looking like?
I think it's a bit of both. The local market tends to be the later booking market, except for peak periods. We do see that a lot of places do plan, for example, Easter, Carnival, both carnivals periods. We do get people doing advance, and of course, foreign tourists, of course, visitors do have to plan in advance. But it's still a mixed bag. I mean, the trends are always changing, and it is very tied to our marketing and promotion efforts.
All right, thank you for being with us this morning and sharing that update there. And you're confirming that the Independence Day day of reflection, prayer and reflection, as opposed to the parade, not necessarily affecting occupancy during this period because it's naturally a peak season, right?
That's correct.
All right then. All right. Thank you for being with us this morning.